Hello and welcome to Spectrum Sphere, your go-to channel where we explore a diverse world of discovery, spanning topics from the marvels of science to the rich tapestries of history. Join us as we embark on another intellectual adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on our weekly content. If you're enjoying our journey through history and crave more fascinating insights, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Spectrum Sphere. Our community thrives on curiosity, and we promise a world of discovery with every weekly update. Your engagement helps our channel grow, so join us on this adventure. Delving into history, the French and Indian War, spanning from 1754 to 1763, was a pivotal conflict that set the stage for American independence. Although called the French and Indian War, it was but a part of a larger struggle between Britain and France for global supremacy. As hostilities escalated, both French and British colonial forces sought alliances with various Native American tribes. These partnerships were crucial, as indigenous knowledge of the land and guerrilla tactics could dramatically sway the tide of battle in this sprawling conflict over North America's vast territories. Before we delve into the war itself, let's understand the background. The rivalry in the New World was a culmination of long-standing tensions between Britain and France. Both European powers sought control over lucrative trade and expanses of territory, fearing the other's growing influence in regions like the Ohio Valley. The Ohio Valley region was vital due to its fertile land and strategic location, serving as a gateway to the continent's interior. Control over this area meant not only economic benefits from the fur trade, but also a critical advantage in territorial expansion, intensifying the competition between British and French colonists. Tensions flared into violence as British and French forces clashed in a series of early skirmishes over the contested Ohio Valley. It was a young George Washington who found himself embroiled in these initial encounters, which collectively sparked the full-scale conflict that came to be known as the French and Indian War. As a young militia officer, George Washington played a crucial role in the early stages of the French and Indian War. Sent as an envoy to assert British claims, his skirmish at Jumonville Glen and defeat at Fort Necessity would ignite the powder keg of war between Britain and France. In response to growing tensions, representatives from several colonies met in Albany, New York in 1754. They proposed the Albany Plan of Union, aiming to unify colonial efforts and form a collective government. Although not ratified, it was a significant step towards cooperation among the colonies, planting seeds for future unity. As the conflict intensified, its flames leapt across the Atlantic, igniting the 7 Years' War in Europe. The French and Indian War became but one theater in a global struggle for empire, involving not just Britain and France, but also Spain, Portugal, and other European powers, reshaping the world's colonial landscape. Moving deeper into the midst of war, two significant battles stand out: the clash at Fort Necessity and the Battle of the Monongahela. The former marked a young George Washington's early military blunders, while the latter saw a devastating ambush by French-Canadian forces, altering the course of the war's early years. As the war raged on, a pivotal moment unfolded on the Plains of Abraham near Quebec City. In a daring attack, British forces under General Wolfe clashed with the French. Despite the odds, the British emerged victorious, seizing control of Quebec. This decisive battle marked a turning point, signaling an impending British dominance in North America. Naval power played a crucial role in the French and Indian War, particularly for the British. Controlling the seas allowed for the swift movement of troops and supplies, ultimately enabling them to impose blockades and capture key French territories. This maritime superiority was instrumental in tipping the scales in Britain's favor. The war profoundly disrupted the lives of colonial settlers. As battle lines shifted, frontiers became dangerous, leading to widespread displacement and hardship. Settlers often bore the brunt of hostilities from both European armies and native allies, resulting in a heightened sense of vulnerability and growing dissatisfaction with the British protection. In the aftermath of the war, Britain sought to manage its massive debts by passing the Stamp Act of 1765. This legislation imposed a direct tax on the colonies, targeting newspapers, legal documents, and other papers. Colonial resentment surged as many felt this tax was imposed without their consent, fueling the fires of rebellion. The Native American tribes played a complex role in the French and Indian War, often choosing sides strategically to protect their interests. Some aligned with the French, valuing their trade relationships and hoping to curb colonial expansion, while others sided with the British, seeking to play the powers against each other. The French and Indian War profoundly shaped the future of both the United States and Canada. For the budding United States, it sowed the seeds of discontent that would grow into the Revolution. In Canada, it marked the start of British dominance, influencing cultural and linguistic divides that persist today. In 1763, the signing of the Treaty of Paris brought the war to a close, with Britain emerging as the victor. This pivotal treaty ceded Canada and significant territories east of the Mississippi River to the British, reshaping the North American political and geographical landscape indelibly. Following the war, the British government issued the Proclamation of 1763, aimed at stabilizing relations with Native Americans through the regulation of westward expansion. However, this well-intended decree only served to agitate colonists, who perceived it as an infringement on their hard-earned right to settle and expand westwards. As the dust settled, the colonies faced heavy economic burdens. The British government, grappling with war debts, turned to the colonies for revenue, imposing taxes on everyday goods. These taxes, seen by colonists as unjust and without proper representation, sowed the seeds of deep discontent across the American landscape. The conclusion of the war left Britain with staggering war debts, prompting British Parliament to enact new taxation policies on the colonies. Legislation such as the Sugar Act and Stamp Act were intended to recoup costs, but instead they ignited a fierce debate over taxation without representation among the colonists. As tensions between Britain and her American colonies escalated, key figures began to emerge, signaling the early stages of the quest for American independence. Among these were Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and George Washington, whose experiences during the war would profoundly shape their roles in the upcoming revolutionary struggle. The French and Indian War left an indelible mark on American memory, fostering a spirit of self-reliance and military aptitude. It also sowed seeds of discontent with British rule, subtly cultivating a collective identity that would later fuel the flames of the American Revolution. As the French and Indian War concluded, it significantly influenced emerging American military traditions. Colonists gained vital combat experience and learned guerrilla tactics from native allies. These methods would underpin future revolutionary strategies, illustrating how the fabric of American military ethos was woven with threads from this earlier conflict. The war also inadvertently boosted colonial communication networks and unity. Facing common threats, the colonies began to share information more efficiently through newspapers and correspondence committees. This newfound cooperation planted the seeds for a collective American identity, setting the stage for the unified front required in the Revolutionary War. As the conflict drew to a close, colonial loyalty began to erode under the weight of British demands. The seeds of unrest were sown as oppressive taxes and arbitrary rule fanned the flames of revolution. Colonies, once staunchly British, started to envision an independent future free from the Crown's grip. The French and Indian War laid fertile ground for revolutionary thought. As the British imposed stricter controls and taxes, the colonists' ideological shift towards self-governance gained momentum. This period saw the rise of key intellectual movements, questioning the legitimacy of monarchy and advocating for the rights of the individual. The imprint of the French and Indian War extends into popular culture, with numerous books, films, and television series dramatizing its events. Historical fiction often highlights the conflict's intrigue and drama, bringing to life the alliances, battles, and personalities that shaped the contours of early American society. As we reflect on the French and Indian War, we see its critical role in American history. This conflict not only reshaped North America's geopolitical landscape, but also sowed the seeds of discontent that would eventually lead to the American Revolution and the birth of a new nation. In closing, the French and Indian War laid the foundation for a revolutionary shift. Its conclusion bred colonial dissent, setting the stage for the pursuit of independence. Without this crucial conflict, the narrative of America's quest for sovereignty might have unfolded very differently. Thank you for watching Spectrum Sphere. We hope this deep dive into the pivotal moments of the French and Indian War has enriched your understanding of its role in shaping history. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join us on more journeys through a diverse world of discovery. That wraps up our exploration of the French and Indian War's legacy. If you've enjoyed our journey through history, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to Spectrum Sphere for more content that spans the spectrum of knowledge, and share our videos to help grow our community of discovery.